Well, good afternoon. Went back and looked at the film from Saturday. We looked at it on Sunday, and obviously we're really pleased with how the guys played. We played, it's easy to say we played really hard, but we played really fast. And that was kind of our emphasis throughout the week, was to win the play. And we talked about it, and the guys talked about it, I know in the press conference as well, is just win the play. Don't worry about all the other things at the end of the day and all the streaks and those other things that are out there. We just got to focus on this football team and win every play. And that's kind of the mindset we went into the game with, and really was pleased. Even on our plays where we weren't gaining more than 2 or 3 yards, the line of scrimmage was being pushed. The guys up front, offensive line, defensive line, controlled the line of scrimmage. And then obviously we took a lot of shots vertically. That's the one thing that different from maybe what we've done in the past. But when people are going to put 11 guys at or near the line of scrimmage, you've got to be able to take some chances and try to get them backed off and loosened up a little bit. And we got a couple of pass interference in the first half and missed a couple shots that we maybe thought we could have had. And then obviously getting the big play with Trevor was really important, and then Chase kind of on another big run. So the explosive plays we talk about a lot, and we were able to get a few of those explosive plays, and that was a really good football team we beat. Really good football team in Southern Illinois. And I think as you look at the landscape of our league, all wins are going to be good, and I don't know how you can predict any game in this league, because it's kind of all about matchups. And you know, Western went to Youngstown State, and the year before they went to Youngstown State and probably should have beaten them, and then they go back out there this year and do beat them. So it's going to be a wild league, and we've got to just prepare this week. We're 0-0. That's what we talked about as a staff. That's what we'll talk about with the players tonight. We're 0-0, and we've got to find a way to have a great plan and great preparation in order for us to have some success on Saturday against Indiana State. So I'll take any questions.
What do you know about Kevin's injury, and how long do you think he'll be out?
I would guess he would be down this week. Bobby said, our trainer, that depends on when he gets the strength back, but not quite as significant as what Bo Leak has had, but the same injury. And so I would say we would be hopeful for South Dakota.
Your team's not one that's needed any extra motivation, but are your players aware that the last time they lost to was Indiana State? Is that giving them any extra juice?
We talked about it with the captains last night. I had a captains meeting, and obviously I think if they don't know it, you'll all tell them that was the last game that they lost. But I think the other thing that I look at, because I went back and looked at some of the statistics and stuff, it's the same quarterback. Parrish started that game. And I looked at it, and he had some pretty good success. Obviously, they had the running back that was an exceptional player, but he had some pretty good success against us, so he's not going to be intimidated about coming into the Fargo Dome. And they had some kids on defense that were here as well. So, no, we got to talk about getting ready. Indiana State's playing really well, and we've got to find ways to be able to crack their defense and be able to get pressure on the quarterback.
Parrish missed the game with a concussion. You anticipate he'll be back?
From what I read, I think he will be back, yes.
Coach, what surprised you about Indiana State a lot? I guess the boss picked them at the bottom of the league. What has been the reason why they've been so good this season?
Well, I give Sanford a lot of credit. I think he's a really good football coach. He's got a great pedigree. He's been around the nation, so to speak, and he's a really good coach, and he's got those kids buying in, and they're well disciplined, they're well coached. I thought just watching the games against Northern Iowa and Illinois State, those are the two that I've looked at kind of extensively. They tackle exceptionally well on defense, and Parrish is playing really well, and they've got a tremendous skill kids. So they're a well-disciplined, well-coached football team.
Chris, looking at the drive chart of Western Illinois, looked like you had about errors that killed half your drives, you know, penalties or whatever. That got cut in half, the errors did against Southern SIU. So what was the difference?
Well, we emphasized that a little bit more probably, Jeff, as far as if we had an error in practice, rather than sometimes we say go to the next play, so that we can get through, quote, our script of practice. We said, hey, get back on the ball and let's do it again. Whether that was offense or defensive side, we tried to make a perfect play. And if that limited our snaps at practice, it limited our snaps at practice. But we wanted to make sure and correct the errors rather than move on to the next play.
Is that a reason the red zone production's gotten better?
Yeah, Carson's making some plays, and we're blocking a little bit better up front. And no, I hope so, but we'll find out.
Are there any concerns with Christian Dudzik's fumbles in the punt return game?
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned with Christian. Part of it is we're wearing him down a little bit. We may have to, having him take every snap of defense, kick return, punt return, talking about things that he could potentially do on offense. So no, I'll talk to Christian. But there's a fifth-year senior that there's nobody more competitive than Duds, and he'll be okay. But yeah, we've got to make sure and shore that up.
Coach, seems like the last couple of weeks you guys have been in these tight games. I know you mentioned Trevor's catch earlier, but you've had a big play that has sort of just swung the game in your favor. How important big plays rather been for you guys all year?
Well, explosive plays are what we have to have on offense and what we have to eliminate on defense. And we always kind of tally the explosive play count. And obviously Trevor's was a really big play because the kid actually had pretty good coverage. And Carson stepped up in the pocket, and then Trevor got a little separation. And once again, it was against an all-out blitz. And we've got to be able to capitalize when people are going to blitz us to be able to make a big play. We had an all-out blitz on Lucas's catch for a touchdown. We had an all-out blitz on Crockett's wheel route that got us a big play. So we've got to be able to convert some of those so we get people to play a little bit more conventional against us. And if we can't convert them, then people are going to continue to pressure us.
Percentage-wise, where would you say Zach Farrar was Saturday?
Probably 80-85%. I think he ended up getting maybe 20 or 25 snaps. And the good thing is he wasn't in worse shape yesterday. He felt pretty good. He was sore, but not near as sore, obviously, as he was after the Western Illinois game. We're not going to do anything with Zach today. Probably limit his snaps on Tuesday and hope on Wednesday we can have a little bit more of a full practice. So mainly a timing issue with he and Carson to be able to get those guys. Last week Zach ran a couple routes on Thursday, but we're in spiders on Thursday and don't quite have that crispness and the timing, and we're hoping to be able to get Zach back out there probably some Tuesday and more on Wednesday.
You look at the tape after each week, you feel like we got to get Bonnet the ball more because every time he does something, it's a big play.
Now that you say that, yeah. I mean, really, he's such an integral part of what we do offensively, whether it's from the fullback position or the tight end position. Where I'm so happy with Andrew is the way he's blocking at the point of attack and the way he's finishing blocks. He's had, I think, 2 personal fouls that are aggressive penalties where the play's still alive and he's blocking downfield and he got called, and let's be honest, the one on Colton didn't get called, so I get it, that's a 50-50 one. But Andrew's ability to block at the point of attack and ability to catch the ball really is a great weapon because, a defensive end or a linebacker's got to be able to defend the power, and then you got to be able to defend the power pass when he's in the flat.
You guys have run twice as many running plays as he has passing plays this year. Is there any want to maybe balance out the offense?
I think it all is based on the game. When you're up 24-10 in the fourth quarter, let's pound it, and that's what we did. We were up against Iowa State and we ran the football. I would say we're a 50-50 club when the game's in doubt, but when it's intact, then we need to give our defense a rest and make sure that we can run the football. Now, Western Illinois, I think we probably threw it more than we ran it because they did a great job stopping the run. So every game will probably be a little different. But no, we always look at our numbers and see where we're at balance-wise.
With Hardy back, it seems like you really have a true rotation now on the defensive line for pretty much every position. Do you feel really good about where that's at? Because it looks like Menard and Hahn are getting a lot of third down reps. Yeah, I felt really great that Mike played. That was just an emotional lift for our defense because Hardy's so well respected on our team, and for him to get his, I think he probably had 25 or 30 snaps, but for him to play and play effective and play well, lifted our whole defense. And then, we were able to get him out, and Alex was fresh, Brad was fresh, Greg is getting better, and Greg made a couple of really good plays for us, and so it gives us 5 guys there. And then the other thing it does, which you saw a little bit Saturday and you'll see continuing, is we'll be able to put Kyle and Mike inside on some pass rush downs and then have Alex and Brad or Alex and Greg outside so that people can't try to find where Kyle's at all the time.
Coach Lennon used the word dynasty to describe this game of 30 or 30-game win streak that you guys are on. How would you, when you look back at it, do you even have a chance to reflect on that 30 straight wins?
No, I know it's remarkable, but it's not anything that we talk about with our team and with our guys. It's no dare. I was a defensive back in college. You're only as good as your last snap, you know. And if you gave up a touchdown, you weren't very good, even if you won the game 40-7. You know, it just you play each play, you play each game, and we try not to get caught up in it. I know it's remarkable. I know it's something that probably isn't going to be seen in college football again, and when the streak ends, it'll be over with, and we'll continue on to the next game, whenever that is. So it's not anything that we discuss with our guys.
How do you prepare for a guy like Connor Underwood?
We've got to know where he's at. He's a tremendous football player, and you know, we need to find formations where we know we can get him on a certain side, and we've got to know where he is at all times. Terrific player, plays the game extremely hard. They utilize him in a number of different fashions, whether they pressure him, whether they drop him in coverage. So, but a great football player.
I think they're only starting one senior on defense. You surprised? I think they've held their last 5 opponents to 20 points or less. You surprised with only one senior they're able to do that?
They're flying to the football. They're fun to watch. Watching those guys, like I said, those last 2 games against Illinois State and Northern Iowa, they get a lot of bodies around the ball, and they're not missing tackles. They did a great job on both the running back at UNI and the running back at Illinois State, who are really good running backs. They did a great job on those guys, just corralling those guys and limiting big plays from defense. And then offensively, they're maintaining possession, which is keeping their defense fresh, and they're winning on 3rd down. I've been really impressed. I know everybody remembers, when did we play them last year in November? They weren't a very good football team, but they'd just gotten rid of their running back. They had a quarterback problem because they had so many kids hurt, and I remember Mike talking about that at the media conference in February. They just didn't have a quarterback after they lost a couple of guys. And Parrish is a really good football player, and he's I assume he'll play because I think he even warmed up. I don't think many people knew that he wasn't going to play. I think he warmed up, and all indications are he's going to play.
Well, your defensive back play. I mean, Colton leading with you in tackles, and then your corners seem to be playing out of their minds right now.
Well, they're experienced guys. You know, Colton is excellent tackler and always around the football. The guy I was most pleased with on Saturday was Christian, because Christian didn't have his best game against Western Illinois on defense, and Duds is a prideful kid. He knew he didn't play exceptionally well, and he came out and played lights out, made really good tackles. And we've given up, in the last couple weeks, a couple of big runs. Thankfully, Christian Dudzick's in the game, because I think he's got unbelievable speed and he runs everybody down. And I was really pleased with his play. Champ and CJ are doing a really good job at corner of mixing up some press coverage and some zone coverage, and they've got to continue to play at a high level for us to be successful.
Does he go have that? Does he have a maturity about him that just as benefit to your team?
Yeah, he's experienced. He's got great leadership. Knows where he's at. Knows where he fits within the defense at all times. Knows where the other guys are at, so he knows the angles he needs to take. But when you have a guy that's played as many football games as Colton has, and has been through this league as much as Colton has, he understands a lot of our opponents and uses that to his advantage, because he knows where he's supposed to be at all times.
The old line, where you at? Where you like so far halfway through the season? Has it progressed to the point where you're happy with it?
Extremely happy on Saturday. You know, we played the 7 guys again, and we'll continue to do that. And just they came off the football and played so much faster than we did against Western Illinois. And once again, Western played us exceptionally well, and I thought Southern played us exceptionally well on their defensive front. But we just came off the ball so much better. I thought our backs ran harder. I thought our tight ends and fullbacks blocked better. All the things that you need for us, because we're still want to be able to establish the run, and if we can establish the run and set up our play action game, that's when we're most effective offensively.
Any part of your team halfway through the season that you feel needs work?
Special teams. We'll continue to work on special teams. Whether it's our coverage stuff on punt and kickoff, and once again, you guys see it. Sometimes we put Kyle out there and Colton out there and LJ out there on punt. Sometimes those guys are taking a few reps, so we get that experience factor out there. And then obviously we've got to be
more productive on kick return. Now that was the kid kicked it out of the end zone. I mean, out of the end zone a couple times that we didn't have an opportunities. But we've got to continue to get better at special teams, and that's a big emphasis for us on Monday nights at practice.
Chase Morlock had another touchdown run to kind of put the game away. It's kind of becoming a closer on this team. Is that a role you guys are using him in on purpose, or does it just keep working out?
That just kind of works out that way. I mean, he and King are getting double-digit carries between the two of them to relieve John, and we've got to keep John fresh for the whole season, and both those two kids probably warrant a few more carries because they run so well. They understand our scheme. They're getting more and more comfortable in the backfield, and they're playmakers. So I'm really excited about King and Chase. If he was a closer, we could have used him and not pitched Rosenthal last night with the Redbirds. But got to hit the long ball, right, Dom? That's how you win.
You know, we talked a lot last week about Carson, but with the offensive line, what's the rapport like between those guys and Carson? Do they know that with the vision he is showing, do they know if they give him time, he'll get the job done?
Everybody's got a ton of confidence in Carson. Everybody's got a bunch of confidence in Carson. So either give him time or hold your block a little longer and he'll scramble and make a first down. I told you guys last weekend, Carson is really emerging into an exceptional football player. He just needs to continue to get experience and game snaps. And, you know, this week or last week was a 3-4 defense. That was a all different look, all different blitzes from what Western Illinois does. Indiana State's a 3-4, but different from what Southern does. And so, you know, as Carson goes, so to speak, so will we go on offense.
I know with Kevin being down, Albers will probably step in. Is Connor Wentz going to be back, or is he still?
Yeah, he will. He missed last game with a concussion. He'll be back, but no, we've got to get a lot out of Albers, probably more out of Ilias and Lucas, and then Andrew, because Andrew can play both the tight end and fullback. So it probably hurts us more from a flex standpoint because we flex Kevin so much in the passing game that maybe that's where I think Jeff and Lucas is really emerging as an excellent receiving tight end.
Is the door closed on true freshmen?
I think it is, Jeff. You know, we talk about it quite a bit upstairs, and we've got to get the guys that are the backups a little bit better at the special team spots so we don't have to have that conversation again.